So, you're welcome. You're welcome. Um, you're welcome to another special business conversation today. You're welcome. We have a very dynamic woman today. Please just forward the link to your friends. Messmen, no people, you're welcome. I salute you. I am seeing you. Thank you. Share the link with your friends and with your neighbors. Today is going to be a very, very dynamic conversation, a special conversation, and this is your platform. Remember that the sole purpose of our conversation is to be able to help us reflect, rethink, and of course, after rethinking, we have empowered ourselves, we take the right action. So we don't just want to have conversations without taking action. That's why we are looking just the best for you so that you can make the best decisions out of it. This is your place, this is your space. The purpose of our business conversation is to make a difference in our individual lives as well as to make a difference in the lives of our family members or again the community, and hoping that through the difference that we are making, we are able to influence the global well, this is why the conversation is so important because we are helping you and we want to help you establish your own businesses. I think that when God created us, He didn't create us that we're supposed to be by all means and working for people and having this 7 hours work. No, I think it is time for us to do our own work. And that's the purpose of our business conversation, to encourage you, to motivate you, to inspire you so that you can be able to also start up your organization. The reason why we have only the great people and specialists in their different activities and their different domains. We are having just the best, and we have people who have put their hands into the mud. They thought big but started small. And so there are people that are really, really doing the job. So I want to encourage you to, again, tell us where you're watching from. Masmin, you're watching from where? And invite your friends so that together we can go into this very intensive conversation. Our guest today is a dynamic woman, a woman of substance. I've followed her, I've watched her work, and I've listened to her, pay attention to her, and that's why I thought it was so important to bring to us today Dr. Beatrice Lukose, and who says that your emotions can determine your welfare and, of course, your wealth. You're welcome, Dr. Beatrice. How are you today?
I am doing great, great. Many, many thanks to you, Farah, for that wonderful introduction. The weather is so nice here in the Netherlands. I don't know how it is over there.
Well, we had a very sunny day today. I think that I'm not getting used to when it's too sunny. I think I think I love the cold weather so I can protect myself better. But I know that most people love the hot weather.
I know. I love the hot weather. Like now I feel like I'm back at home. I'm originally from Kenya. So I feel like I'm actually back at home. But anyway, thank you so very much for that wonderful introduction again. I do really appreciate you, and I do acknowledge the value that you're adding to the society through your various programs. So well done, well done. And of course, it is a pleasure to be able to be speaking in this forum. I've been looking forward to this time. And so let's go on now. As you mentioned, yes, my name is Dr. Beatrice Lukose. They call me an inspirational speaker, an author. I am a business and life coach. As I mentioned, I am actually originally from Kenya, but I do live and work in the Netherlands. And maybe just to tell you a little bit more about myself, I have been married now for 23 years, and I do have two lovely young adults. I have served the community in various ways, working for many years with the United Nations and as the founder of Motivate Foundation, where we help people to love, live, and work like champions. Yes, let me say that again: love, live, and work like champions. And to help people to love, live, and work like champions, we have authored 3 books on relationships. And one of them is How to Tune Your Relationship to Last a Lifetime. The second one is What Does She Need to Blossom? What she needs to blossom. And the third one, and what I consider to be really critical at this time, is how to become a nurturing husband. Yes, we are talking about an emotionally intelligent husband. So we authored this book specifically with a husband, a man in mind. And just like Vera mentioned, recently our focus has been so much on actually supporting people to start and scale their businesses online. And so we have set up a team of qualified IT people because we have realized that with this kind of a team, we can help many people to scale their businesses online or to start their businesses online, because guess what? The buying behavior has now changed. People want to buy from the comfort of their homes. And so, for more details, and I'll be talking a little bit later about this, you can check on our website, which is www.imotivate.com. But more than that, I thank God that I had the privilege of going to school. And so as you see me now, I have successfully achieved a master's and doctorate in business administration, and having done a successful research on emotional intelligence, a topic that is very, very close to my heart. And that is why I am here to speak to you about emotional intelligence and money. And like Vera asked me, what really drove you to do a research on emotional intelligence and our performance in life, including money? It's because of my own life, my own upbringing, where I was exposed to an environment where I would say we lived in a community where we didn't feel like we were at the top of the ladder. And some of the words that I could continually keep hearing from my parents were words like, not everybody should be rich. Money is not meant for everybody. Money does not grow from the trees. And little did I know that this would have an effect in my life later, when now, as a mature grown-up lady in the society who wants to start a business, faced a lot of challenges. And I'll be sharing with you how I had to deal with that. And so, with that, today's topic on emotional intelligence and money, of course, is very relevant. I have been featured several times on radio and on TV on various topics which relate to our success in life. But today's topic is on emotional intelligence and money, and I'm really delighted to talk more about it. And so what I normally do is I call it EI Money Master Plan, and that's what I'll be discussing with you. But let's even just go back slightly and remind ourselves, what is money? What is money? We deal with money every day. So what is money? Money is basically a medium of exchange, right? And so it has been generally accepted for payment for goods and services that we offer. Money can also be a function for savings. We want to save money. It can also be like a function for growth, investments. But guess what? Just like we have bad and good in life. We have hot and cold. When it comes to money, we also have two governing laws, and that is the inner and the outer law. And these two must exist for one to achieve money success. Very interesting. But just like we all know, we go to school and most likely we tend to learn the outer laws of money. So, for example, we do business studies. I did business studies. That's why I have a doctorate in business studies, financial management, financial accounting, investment options, etc., etc. So in that sense, when it comes to the outer law, we are very well prepared. And actually, we can get information anywhere, even online. But what we are never taught in school, what we are never taught in school is the inner law of money. How emotions affect our relationship with money, which I believe that is so important, because once we are able to possess both the intellect and the emotional aspect of money, then we'll be able to build a healthy relationship with it. And so, what is your money mindset? What do you know about money emotions? And maybe even I should put it this way. When do we even start thinking about money mindset? Now, the truth might really be mind-boggling. Now, whether you realize it or not, our relationship with money, or what I call the money mindset, is largely drafted during our childhood. It's when you were young, when you were a baby growing up, and even perhaps before then, because what you also get at that time had already been drafted before you were even born. So the beliefs about money are installed in us during our childhood, which affects our attitude towards money. And one of the greatest authors that I know is called T. Harv Eker. Says, your money can only grow to the extent that you yourself do. And so the question is, why do we even need this money mindset? Why? Perhaps just like me, you have heard of people that have had good amounts of money, but they blew up. Perhaps you also know some people, maybe even you're one of them, because I was one of them. People that have worked so hard, achieved good money, and lose it all. Or perhaps you have had people that have set up businesses, but struggling every day to get a breakthrough. Perhaps there are even people that have even great opportunities, but they screw it up. But guess what we do? In most cases, we do associate this with bad luck. We blame the economy, bad relationships, etc., etc. But the truth is, in most cases, the battle is on the inside, not outside. Personally, I had a battle. I struggled so much with my first business. And since my first degree was in economics from Nairobi University, when I started my first business, it didn't do well. So I said, you know what? Let me go back to school and do a master's in business administration. So in terms of the skills, I had it, but I still struggled. And then I said, okay, let me also do a PhD. I am so appreciative of the fact that I do need them as the part of the outer law that is needed, the intellectual part of it. But my money struggle did not end there. And that's when I went through a journey, a soul-searching journey to ask myself, what is happening? What else should I achieve? What else do I need to do? I have gotten to the highest ladder academically when it comes to business processes. Is it the people that are working for me? Is it the relationship that I have with my husband or children? What is going wrong? Studies have actually shown that many people, even academically alert people, they do not have that inner capacity to hold large sums of money. This revelation for me was too deep. And so it doesn't matter how they struggle. It doesn't matter how hard they work. And a good example that I know, look at the Rotary winners. Now, apparently I did some study, and studies have shown that for the Rotary winners, they win. They get a good amount of money. But even after winning, they still end up going back to their original financial state. The level of money they can handle comfortably. Now, then I compared with the self-made millionaires. And I realized that even if they lose their money, by the way, even if they lose their money, they get it back relatively in a short amount of time. And actually, they even supersede what they had before. And why is this the case? It's because even if they lose the money, they never lose the most fundamental element that leads to wealth generation. And that is the money mindset. And that's why it is so important to be well prepared to handle wealth. Otherwise, you'll just be wasting your time. And it would rather just be short-lived. And so, some of us, like me at some point in life, we have been conditioned to have a ceiling in our lives of the amount of money we are able to handle. For me, some time back, it was only thousands, because that's all what I could get. For other people, it's millions. Others, it's billions. What is your ceiling? And what affects your ceiling? What determines your ceiling? Your ceiling is fully determined by what is invisible rather than what is visible. Normally, as I mentioned, I come from Kenya, and I grew up on the slopes of Mount Kenya. And I grew up in a garden, a beautiful garden that I call the Garden of Eden. And this garden had many trees. And one of the childhood memorable tree is a huge, humongous mango tree that used to be behind our kitchen. And I remember one time when the mangoes were juicy and ripe, I climbed up the tree and I grabbed a mango fruit. And I sat under that mango tree. It was a hot, sunny afternoon. And I remember eating it, and looking inside the mango fruit was a seed. And all of a sudden I had a revelation that that seed is the one that germinates to that big tree. I realized that that humongous tree was one time trapped in a fruit as a seed. But for it to grow, to become such a humongous tree that can bear fruits, that seed had to be buried under the soil for it to germinate. So what am I trying to say? What am I trying to say? The roots are the ones that give birth to fruits. That humongous tree with all the nice fruits that I could even enjoy would not have been there were it not that there was a seed that developed into deep roots that were supporting that tree. And this is true also about money. It's what is inside that produces the fruits. In our lives, what are our fruits? Our fruits are the results. And sometimes we look at our fruits like I did after doing my master's. And I looked at my fruits and I'm like, oh my God, my fruits, they don't look so strong. They don't look healthy. And what did I do? Instead of focusing on the roots, I started looking more at the results. Instead of looking at the roots, the inner man, the inner wiring, I focused more on what I was getting that was not good. And that did not help. So what I'm trying to say is, even when it comes to money, it's what is not visible that is louder in determining what you can achieve. And so, quickly, I want to let you know that this programming we're talking about, the mindset, comes from when we were young. And this has been documented. And some of the great scholars like D. Havecker, who have written a lot about money, also say very well that the roots I'm talking about, that we are now looking at, the roots that can bring that good money, the roots that can germinate and bring out good results, have come all the way from the past. And it consists of our thoughts, which lead to feelings, which lead to actions, and then the results. That is the underlying blueprint. That is the underlying line. And where did it come from? Where do these thoughts come from? They come from our parents, maybe authority figures. It could even be from siblings. What did the teachers tell you when you were learning in school? What do the religious leaders tell you? What does the media, what does the culture tell you? In our culture, we were not supposed to show openly that we have money. And so growing up in such a culture, and please note here that every culture has its own way of looking at money. And so growing up in my culture, it has been crafted in me that I should not even show that I have money. If anything, I should be all covered and all dressed, all really so happy. But what about another culture? It's different. What about another culture? So can culture really determine, or really can we allow the culture to program us or condition us the way we should be looking at money? Of course not. And so how we treat money has more to do with our inner conditioning when we were young. And I'm gonna reach there now, and I want to invite Vera. Thank you so much, Vera. That was just a brief introduction of what really affects us when it comes to our mind and thinking about money. Thank you, Vera.
Thank you so much, Doctor. That was such a brilliant presentation. I mean, Marcy's great analogy, and I have learned a lot from your discussion, and I'm so grateful that you are here. Now we know that this thing starts from the mind, and you said that right back from the childhood, and you explained that it has to do with culture, and some of our culture don't even give us the possibility to think further. You went further to also remind us of the fact that the seed is so important. It is the seed that determines how much fruit where the tree is going to produce, and the seed must be buried into the soil so that it can germinate and you said that same, it applies to us, our inner being, that which is within us will have to germinate. And so it takes us back now to the fact that the things that are in our minds, our thoughts, that were produced maybe by the culture where we are, or by the religious structures, or by
Yes,
our siblings, have
yes.
really affected us and affected our way to see money and even to get money. Now, but we know all this, doctor. My question is, how now do we help the people step by step so that they can renew their minds and really start making this money? Because honestly, I get really sad and worried when I see people jump from one business to the other. One business is not yet even producing, it is not yet even stable, and so they are just jumping from one place to the other as though the more they are jumping, the better. And yet they are not having any money. Please help us. How can we, step by step, help these people, help us so that we can be able to really possess that money that really belongs to us?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Farah. That's a very, very good question. And I have been there myself. I have been in a situation where I doubted everything because I was starting businesses. And I remember the first one I started was soon after my university. I was selling clothes. And somehow it just didn't kick off well. And the person that I even employed ran away with money. And so I have been through a journey. And at one point I started asking myself, oh my God, what is really going on in my life? But to answer your question, let's first of all ask ourselves, what is this money programming that we get? What is it? And how do we even get it before we can even deal with it?
Mhm.
And this is what I realized. It all starts, as I said, when we were children.
Mhm.
What was that verbal programming? What did we hear when we were young? What did we hear about money?
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but for me, I heard things like money is the root of all evil.
I heard that one too.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Money can be problematic if you allow it to be your master. It's the love of money.
Yeah.
It's how you treat money.
Mhm.
I have learned that I have to be the master. It shouldn't be my master. And thank God I'm married. My husband cannot take the place of money. He is my
Mhm.
master in a sense. You see what I mean?
Mhm.
I could hear words like, save your money for a rainy day.
Mhm.
God help us. I learned that I have to be saving money for that bad day.
Mhm.
Now, if I am actually saving money for a bad day, guess what I'll be
Mhm.
attracting every day? Is that a bad day?
Right. Mhm. Mhm.
I heard words like rich people are greedy.
Mhm.
Words like filthy rich are thieves.
Mhm.
Hmm. Money does not grow on trees. I had so much. Words like you cannot be rich and spiritual at the same time.
I also heard this something like money is nothing, everything is vanity.
Oh, dear Lord, it's going to be vanity. You will run for that money, you will never get it if that's the attitude you have. You will look for it left, right, and center. It's all about the attitude. I was told money does not buy happiness. Oh, dear Lord Jesus. Imagine if, let's not even think of a situation where you need to pay a medical bill and you
Mhm.
have no money.
Mhm.
I had things like The richer get richer and the poor get poorer.
Mm-hmm.
There is never enough. And so growing up, there was all this verbal programming that I grew up with. And what happens is we actually tend to forget all these words, but they are there in our subconscious mind, well encrypted inside. And now they start affecting us. What about the visual programming? What did we see when we were growing up? Did we have challenges? Were there bitter arguments about money when we were growing up? They say the apple does not fall far from the tree. So if I grew up in such an environment where there were bitter arguments, then what happens? Because I grew up in such an environment where we had a little bit of luck. So sometimes we could be faced with really, really bitter challenges and bitter arguments. What did we experience also? And so these are the kind of things that we grew up with that have actually programmed us in a way that does not really, really benefit us. But now the question is, how can we then change? How? How can we come out of that quagmire? How can we come out of that quagmire to be better people? And this is a journey that I had to change myself. I had to change myself. I had to work on myself. I had to work on my attitude. It started with awareness. It all started with writing down all the statements that I heard about money, wealth, and rich people. That's why I mentioned all of them, because those are the things I grew up hearing. So I listed them. Money does not go from, come from trees. And I remember at one point, anytime I could even go to my mom and ask her for money, she would tell me, oh, go and ask your father. If I wanted ice cream, she would say, oh, go and ask your father. As simple and innocent as my mom was, and I believe she was doing it to the best of her capacity. But little did she know that now that I got married, I would be looking at my husband always as the person who should provide for me. And as soon as he provides, immediate gratification, I go and spend it. Because that's what used to happen. I go ask my dad for ice cream. He gives me money, I go buy. Immediately, boom, I get it. So I got into marriage with that kind of attitude. And my husband had a different wiring growing up as well. He grew up knowing he has to save for a rainy day. So who am I to ask him for money and go and buy shoes immediately? Go buy a green bag that matches with my green dress and my green hat. That gave me a lot of joy, by the way. I could do it. But for him, it was painful because all he knew was to save the money for a rainy day. And so this brought a lot of conflict initially until we had to sit down and say, hey, we might need to sit down and see what is really affecting us. First and foremost, our relationship was getting affected. Our businesses were getting affected. And so it is that awareness, writing down all those statements, and then understand, like we also got to a point where we had to look at how is this affecting our lives so far. For me, it affected the way I looked at my husband. It affected the way I looked at business. And then once you have done that, then try to separate from it. And it is as simple as realizing that. And sorry, I'm saying it is simple because I don't want to say it's hard because that is the attitude you're going to have. It's simple. You just have to realize that all these outside forces do not determine who you are. It does not determine your money blueprint. And you have a choice to make with your present condition. You know where you are and where you want to go. The bridge in between is what you choose to do. Make a decision today that all those blueprints that were imprinted in you that are not good, that are not healthy, that do not bring you success and happiness, erase them. And how did I do it? By reconditioning myself. Reconditioning myself to have a new way of thinking about money that supports my success, health, and happiness. First and foremost, coming from a Christian background, I started saying, I can do all things. I can overcome this through Christ who strengthens my soul. I can do it. I can be a millionaire. I can be the great woman of valor who can speak to people about money and influence them positively. Let me tell you, the moment you start speaking positively about money like that, there is always a shift in your subconscious mind. And for those who would understand the law of attraction, then the universe opens up. For those like us who start by faith, we know that then God will start positioning people, divine connections, divine appointments, because you have the right attitude. And so it's about awareness, understanding what's affecting, how it's affecting your life, separating yourself from that situation, and reconditioning yourself. And sometimes the reconditioning will mean you talking to yourself. Thank you so much, Vera.
Thank you so much, Doctor. To paraphrase what you said for us to overcome this programming, we have to, first of all, one, be conscious and aware of the programmings that were done in the childhood. And then secondly, we have to write them down so that we consciously work towards them. Then thirdly, we consciously take the decision to separate from them. And fourthly, erase them from our minds by bringing in new programming. In your case, as a child of God, you kept repeating the fact that money is good and even every cent is important, and that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. And then the fifth point is the complete reprogramming of the mind. Right? So, someone is asking the question, Doctor, what is your, let me put it up so you can also see it. Doctor, what is your take on this statement? Money is the root of all evil. So we get our people already into action. What is your take on this, Doctor? Money is the root of all evil.
That's a very good question. And I grew up hearing it quite often. And I believe strongly that money in itself is not the root of all evil. It is the love of money, putting it at the top of everything, to the point that you're even putting it in front of God for those that believe and trust in God.
Mm-hmm.
Putting it even in front of your very valuable relationship with your husband.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that you should not respect money. Personally, I've gotten to a point where I respect money so much that I don't throw away a 5 cent. If I see even a 5 cent on the road, I will pick it. Because I want to respect money. And once it knows that I respect it, just like my husband, when he knows that I respect him, even more than even the love itself, he will do everything for me. And so money cannot be the root of all evil. I'm even imagining a situation where I have my dad in hospital. And I remember we had to come together and put money to rescue him. Man, at that point, if you told me money is the root of all evil, I would struggle with that. For me, it is the mastery of money What position do you place it in? Is it your master, or are you the one mastering it? Is it your master? If it becomes your master, then I'm afraid it's not going to be a blessing. Because that is when, instead of doing things that are beneficial to your health and to the society, and things that respect humanity, you start doing things that instead bring destruction to yourself and to the community at large.
No. Thank you so much, Doctor. This is amazing. So, for those who have always got this belief system that money is the root of all evils, that is a lie, and it is from the pit of hell. Because if your dad is sick and you will say that money is the root of all evil and you're unable to pay your dad's bill, then I think that that mindset is the root of all evil. And I'm hoping that our conversation today is going to change the mindset of many of us, because I see Ma says the mindset is the biggest challenge. Now, my next question to you, Doctor. I am still wondering, and I'm still asking how to put this question. Now, we are talking about money and we're talking about business. How does money affect our business?
My dear, money has a lot to do with business. Money comes in, as I said, as a medium of exchange for the service and the products that we offer the society.
Mm-hmm.
When I offer value to the society, yesterday we had a training, and the training was on how to make money using online business.
Mm-hmm.
And during the training, we explained to people clearly that when you add value to someone's life, then what happens? You start receiving gifts, you receive money. So in this case, I was adding value yesterday to the people who were listening to me. And we went through the whole structure of how to set up an online business. Why was I even taking time to emphasize on that importance of setting up an online business and the importance of doing it so that they can get money? Why? It's because I knew that the moment they start a business, it could be selling shoes, it could be selling food, it could be selling clothes, it could be a service, maybe it's coaching. The audience consisted of church members who are also offering services in the church. You're adding value to somebody's life. And because of that, you get paid. Now, the question my sister has asked, does money have any effect on business? Yes, it does. And it does in a way that, imagine if I'm in a situation where I'm offering my services, and for me to be able to offer my services, I need a laptop like now. I need to be able to connect with Vera. Okay? I need to be able to look decent, so I need to buy clothes. Now, what has enabled me to be where I am now is the businesses that I do. And what has happened is, and this is something that I teach people, the difference between the rich and what I would maybe call the poor. And in this case, I'm not categorizing them with the amount of money that they have. It's about the mindset. Is that the rich use the money to make more money through businesses. But on the other side of the coin, The people make the money. They don't use the money to make more money for them. They make the money and keep. And why is that mindset? It's because that's how we were wired growing up. That money always comes from elsewhere. And so instead of being on the steering wheel and working hard to get the money and to work hard to get the money and make it work for us, we do the opposite. So for sure, money has a great impact on businesses, and the reverse is true. And if you're offering any meaningful service out there, please, you need to get paid.
Oh,
and
thank you so much.
If you need any support, we do support people to go online. We're supporting people to go online with their businesses. It's a campaign we have even started because this is the right time. It's the right time to stop playing the victim mindset, where we are blaming the economy, where we are blaming the type of business, where we are blaming our spouses. We are saying, please, we are here to help you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Indeed, we are here to help ourselves. That's why we are taking time to have this conversation so that we can really learn from one another. But doctor, you said something. You said if you are offering value, then people should pay for those value. But let's take back to our community. Why is it that where do we get this mindset that we should have everything for free? I don't know how it is in the Netherlands or in Kenya, but in some parts of in some parts of the African continent and amongst the business people I see around here, it were as though if you put a fee on your coaching program or your mentoring program or your training program, people have the tendency to ask, but why are you doing that? What could be the reason?
I think, as I said again, it could be more about the attitude, the mindset. Growing up, I used to always hear my mom saying, oh, the government will do it. The government will provide. And so I grew up with this mentality that, oh, I have to wait for the government to do it.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Instead of taking control of the situation, I used to always wait for somebody else to do it and do it for free.
God.
Do it for free. And so it came to a time I realized that if then everything has to be free, my dear, how would the world be?
Mm-hmm.
Where would we be? I live in the Netherlands at the moment, and I go back to Kenya often. Mm-hmm. And I can see the difference when it comes to mentality and attitude. Mm-hmm. For the Dutch here, even an appointment, I have to pay for it. Mm-hmm. And if I am late, I will be charged on top of it. Mm-hmm. Now, back home, it's slightly the opposite. They expect free services. Make an appointment with somebody, they come 3 hours late. I have been a victim of this. And I'm sitting there and I'm wondering, oh my God, those 3 hours I'm seated here, I would be so productive somewhere. But for them, wherever they are late. Maybe they are caught up in the office, but they are doing their work. Now, what has happened is that because of that wiring, that we just have to sit and wait for things to be done. And for free, we end up slowing down the process of development, even within ourselves. It slows my own growth. I was talking with my daughter the other day, and she's starting her business. She just did her master's in interior architecture. And so she's starting her business. She registered it here. And she told me, Mommy, I'll be charging for consultation. And
Yes.
again, of course, my mentality, I'm like, oh, why don't you want to give a free service? She said, for one, I will not give a free service. Why? Because then when people are coming, they will not be coming prepared for my appointment.
Mm-hmm.
Second, they will not be committed.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be setting an appointment and they don't show up. But once they pay,
Yes.
first they will know that I'm an expert in that area,
That is
and they
true.
will show up on time and they will be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is what sometimes with free goodies can happen. But having said about that, I'm right now offering 3 good months of free online, well-designed platform. 3 months for free. So why am I doing that? I am doing that, and maybe for those who are listening, and you do have a business right now, you have a product or a service, and you have already more than three paying customers, please get in touch with me. We are scaling those businesses for 3 months. We're putting them online and it's for free. But why am I doing it for free? Why? It's because when you scale online, it takes a certain period of time to start gaining any returns. And so the first one, and let's say the first month on its own, will just be designing and going back and forth. And it will be unfair for me to be charging at that point. So we're offering this free service. But after that, then we'll start now saying, okay, pay a commission. And then you pay commission on every product.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So, but I'm
Beautiful.
offering this free service. I'm just emphasizing that there are some occasions where it can work. Because again, you don't want to seem like you're taking advantage of the situation.
Yes.
So we know that by the time you have a product, preparing it and putting it online, it takes time. So that is on a mutual understanding with even some of our customers that we have done research with, that's how long it takes.
Beautiful. That
so
takes
God
me.
bless you, my dear.
Thank you so much. That takes me. We have very limited time now. Please, in your own words, define what does it mean, business? I hear many people tell me. I had a conversation with someone some days back, and he was saying that many people are creating NGOs, and he just wants to create a business. What does business really mean, Doctor? What is business?
Business is very simple. You're just adding value to somebody's life. It's as simple as that.
Meaning
so
that.
Yes.
Meaning you can add value in diverse areas, right?
You can add value in many diverse areas, yes. And so you're adding value, but for you to add that value and to make it even better, to package it in a better way, then of course you need to receive something. And that is why money comes in as a media of exchange. That is the description of what money is. So we cannot do business and eliminate money because it is the media of exchange. It's what comes in between what you're offering and the client.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I want you to say something to the people because we are almost going to the end of it. And I would like you to tell our audience, especially those who are doing a lot of great stuffs, be it in Facebook, wherever, and they themselves at this advantage and they are not satisfied because they are unable to put money on their products or their services. What do you have to tell these people? How do they go about?
So these are people that have businesses, right?
Yes.
And they are on Facebook, they're on social media, but they are getting stuck.
They're just unable to put any value or any money on their product because they think that they're supposed to give everything for free. How do we help them?
Oh, wow, wow, wow. To be honest, I think you cannot give things for free forever. And if you do it, it's for a strategic reason. So for us, when we are offering this free online website and platform for 3 months for free, we have done our calculation to see that if these people, when they come on board, they can use their WhatsApp, they can use their Facebook organically, they don't even need to use money to market their products and people buy them, then they themselves will be benefiting and I'll also be benefiting. So if you are really giving anything for free, it's for strategic business reason.
Great.
But it should not be forever. Because you definitely need to put food on your table, my dear. You need to put on good clothes. You need to pay for your medical expenses. You need to take your children to school. So for
That's true.
every value you add in a society, you need to be recognized, you need to be appreciated, and you need to be paid.
Thank you so much. You need to be recognized, you need to be appreciated, and you need to be paid. Doctor, you have a last word to the people. What does emotional intelligence have to do with money and the amount of wealth that we have?
Oh, my dear, you can ask that question 10 times. It's all about the mind, it's all about the mindset. And that's what you call emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is self awareness, knowing yourself, and being able to understand the people around you so that you can influence them positively. Now, in this case, we're talking about emotional intelligence and money. So it's all about you and now money and your relationship with money. Brethren, friends, please have a positive outlook towards money. Respect money. And start your business because you are going to prosper. Because from today, you're not going to be the same again. So do not procrastinate. And if your businesses are stagnating because everybody now is online, please get in touch with us. Through Farah, we should be able to help you. Thank you.
Wow. The time always flies so quick when we have really good conversations. Thank you so very much, Doctor, for this insight. Just to paraphrase your word, you say that emotional intelligence have a long way to influence our finances growth, or again a long way to make us become rich or become poor. It was such a nice conversation with you, Doctor, and I appreciate you so very much. And ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of this other business conversation, and that was a dynamic lady who does a lot of different businesses. And today our intention was actually to open our minds again concerning what money and what money have to do. And today we have understood that money is indeed not the root of all evil. It is the love of money that may be the root of all evil. And our experts today explain to us again how important it is to reprogram our minds when we are starting business, because what we get is what is within us. I leave you, and let's meet again same time next week with another dynamic expert. Let it be a surprise to you. See you then, and God bless you. My name is Vera Sampon, and I was your host again today in our business conversation. Bye bye.